What is up, everybody? I promised y'all I was going to make a video about swing trading strategy. Here it is. I will do my very best to make sure everybody will be profitable with this. The only thing you need is patience. Trust me, it's hard for me as well. I don't have patience for trading. I like day trading more, but swing trading is like 90% win rate over a couple of months. So let's get into it, right? Step 1, mark out structure on the daily time frame. Mark out structure on the daily time frame. Let's begin with that. Let's take a brush, break of structure. This is our protected low. Break of structure, protected low, break of structure, protected low. But what can we see happen here? We can see that price ignored that protected low and broke market structure. So this is called a market structure shift or a change of character. Let's do market structure shift. What happens when market goes from bullish to bearish? It respects one thing: bullish PD arrays. And what can we see, or what are we going to use as our bullish PD array for price to react off of? We're going to use supply and demand. What is supply or what is demand, you may ask? Demand is basically a sell before a bigger buy up. So this is that demand zone. Same thing here. We have that sell before the bigger buy. As you can see, when price made the market structure shift, we tapped in towards this demand zone and we pushed higher. But as you can see, supply is in control here and price is going off of that. So what do we know? Market went from respecting bullish PD arrays to respecting bearish PD arrays. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark out our supply zone. We're going to drop down to the lower time frame. So the 4 hour for us. This is still that market structure shift on the daily time frame. Step 2 is we're going to mark out liquidity highs. So mark out liquidity highs. What are liquidity highs? Just you can see that in the overall impulse in towards the downside, you can see that we have clear bumps in the road, I'll say. As you can see, these are all liquidity highs, right? It's not hard, just basic structure. So what we can do then, let's mark out that zone again, is we can look where price reacted off of. I'm sorry. We can see that we have this high here, and this is the overall swing high. Oh, in towards the downside. So that's our liquidity grab, and as you can see, price gives us an instant reaction out of it and gives a fractal structure shift. What is fractal structure? You can see that we create higher highs and higher lows on the 4 hour time frame. On the individual candles, you can see that we create a high, a low, 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 a high. Then we have a couple of lows. Then we can see that we create a high here. We create a high here, and then we create a low. So this is our fractal low, because this is the high that broke structure in towards the upside. And as you can see, price came into it and instantly gave us a bearish push to the downside. So what are we going to mark? We are going to mark out our fractal structure. What you can do is you're going to go to indicators, do fractals, fractals by Rachel T. And you can see, once I enable it, that price will show you those individual candlesticks highs and lows. Right? So we have that high, we have a low. We have a higher high, we have a lower low. Higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low. And right here you can see that we had a fractal shift. And we continue bearish. So we know we're bearish. We're still bearish. What could we do once we had that fractal structure shift? Could have entered here with your stops above the high and target a new overall lower low on the daily, as we are pushing right now. Or you could have dropped down to the 1 hour time frame to look for the exact same thing we just looked for. Right? So let's remove this. No, let's hold this. So we took out liquidity. We are in the daily demand zone, supply zone. And as you can see, this is that bump in the road that broke market structure towards the downside. And let's look at those bumps. As you can see, this was the main bump that took market out, gave us a fractal structure shift. And this is when you could have placed your stop loss above this high to then target the overall swing low on the daily. This will give you a very bigger risk to reward. Plus, you can go break even whenever you want, right? You can see that we have relative equal lows. You can target these, right? Instead of having this as your setup. From a 2R to a 4R, right? So that's very good. Let's go to another time frame. Let's go Euro USD, because I had some questions for myself about it. Let's look on the higher time frame. This was still here. I'll mark it out as well. You can see market works in impulses and in pullbacks. Green is an impulse, orange is a pullback. Impulse, pullback, impulse, pullback, impulse, pullback, right? It repeats itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark this out on the chart. So what can we see here? We have an impulse in towards the downside. So what can we expect? Price to give a pullback. What do we see here? We have a impulse towards the downside. And we have that pullback. Right? So this is then that pullback. Then we have a more impulse towards the downside. Then you can see pullback, impulse, pullback, impulse, pullback. But now we took out this low. And what is this? This is our overall swing low. So if we know that price targets swing lows, swing highs, swing lows, swing highs, we know that price can give us a bullish reaction out of this. What do I do now? Drop down to the 4-hour and I look if we're bullish or bearish. What is our overall liquidity high within this impulse down? It will be this one. So market will need to target one of these highs before giving a bearish delivery for us. What can we see here? We create a high, we create a low. What is this called? This is our demand zone. Price respects it. Correct? What can we see here? We can see that price creates a new higher high, so a break of structure, and this is our new demand zone. So what do? We mark out that demand zone and we drag it over. Market reacted with an engulfing candle out of it, so we know that we're still respecting bullish and we haven't had that fractal structure shift. So we are still bullish. We can still look for buys. Let's look on the daily if we are at that 50 EMA. Yes, we are above that 50 EMA. So this is a B setup. Because as you know, now we reacted bullish out of this demand zone. You can look on the hourly time frame to look for a good entry. You can see that we had a big engulfing candle out of it. So this could still be a valid setup to push towards these highs until market takes out this high and gives us a bearish delivery. Because right now, once price swept this high, you can see that we had a reaction out of it, but we didn't have a bearish reaction, or not enough. We didn't push lower towards that fractal low. So what do we know? We create a new higher high, so price will target these major highs. So what do? We put our long position here. I put my stop below this low. I'm in this trade right now, and I target this high for a 2R. And there you go. This is not swing. It's a little bit between swing trading and day trading. So we can always mark out new highs and new lows, right? Because if we drop down to the 1 hour, you can see that this is our major liquidity. Price swept it, gave us a bullish reaction. We haven't had that fractal structure shift yet, but I know we are still respecting bullish PDRAs, so I'm having confidence in this trade. Let's go to another random pair. Let's see the USD CAD, because USD CAD is a bit choppy. So I will show you how I read this market. Okay, bullish or bearish? We can see that we are clearly bullish. Okay, the high, low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, or overall this It's just a liquidity sweep. We didn't close. So this is now our structure shift, or our breaker structure. We haven't closed below this low, so we're still bullish. What can we see is that we have a demand zone right here. So the sell before a big buy that broke market structure, right? So what do we see? We're going to wait for, no, we're going to drop down to the 4-hour time frame. We're going to look at liquidity. Once price reached liquidity, we had a bullish reaction, but not bullish enough, right? So we're still on that fractal. We are still, as you can see, bearish. So I'm not going to take a trade yet. Once we break market structure here, I can confidently place a trade to target these relative equal highs. But for now, I'm going to wait for price to give us a delivery towards these liquidity lows for us to then look for a shift on the fractal lows or the fractal structure to target this high. Of course, once price switches from respecting bullish PDRs to bearish or bearish to bullish, you can know that the lower time frame has a higher probability of supply and demand working. So for example, on the daily, we're expecting bullish PDRs. On the 4-hour, we're disrespecting PDRs, but price will need to take out these lows. We haven't had that fractal structure shift, so we are still bearish on the lower time frame, right? So as you can see, this is a clear supply zone. Price took out this major high within that zone. Price didn't give us that fractal shift yet. Price took out this high, did give us a fractal shift. We created a new 4-hour supply zone, which we could then drop down to the 1-hour. And let's see, nothing much. Let's drop down to the 30-minute. And then you can scale lower towards your desired time frame. But always start on that bullish or bearish structure on the daily time frame, which will help you out a ton. When I started trading, I didn't think that it was necessary, but it is. Especially if you want to see if price will still respect bullish or bearish PDRs, right? Because on the 5-minute, we broke structure. Jesus Christ, we did a change of character or a market structure shift, depends what you call it. But this was our major liquidity low, market structure shift. So we are bullish. I hope you learned something. No, wait, I forgot something really important. Let's look on the indicators. Let's look up daily, weekly, monthly, yearly opens by SBT and C. You can see, no, we're going to go to settings, disable the 1 day, open a 3-month. You can see that the weekly, the monthly, and the 3-month opened on our chart. These are very important support and resistance levels. Right as market came into that daily or that 4-hour demand zone, price also tapped into that weekly zone right here, so weekly open. And you can see that market gives us an initial reaction out of it. So we know that this was a good trade to take. Right? We're still bullish. We're still respecting bullish PD arrays. So I'm looking to target these highs or these general highs right here. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, just DM me on Telegram, put a message in the GC, put something in the description that you need help with, and I will be very happy to help. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.